There's a stench coming from Mar-a-Lago, and this time it's not the musty documents kept illegally in the nooks and crannies there. In today's breaking story, the New York Times is saying that extremism is good for business at what they call the gilded sanctuary. And with Donald Trump, the word extremism is so common, we have to unpack the context each time, and I'm here to do that for you now. Trump's gaudy estate in South Florida is now most famous for the federal case against him.
Donald Trump's Florida mega mansion raided FBI style.
It's a raid! I am flushing nuclear secrets down the toilet.
Thank you, Jimmy Kimmel, for doing the Lego work and providing that raw footage. You may also remember Mar-a-Lago as a sanctuary for one Jeffrey Epstein.
A tape in the NBC archives of a Mar-a-Lago party shows Trump giving Epstein his personal attention and appears to say to Epstein, "Look at her back there. She's hot."
It's hard to present something more egregious and damning than a video of you ogling young women with Jeffrey Epstein, but I think we have something that proves extremism has found a home at Mar-a-Lago. And you're probably not surprised by that, but you will be shocked by the extent of it. Let's begin with the obvious conflict of interest. A tremendous conflict of interest like the world has never seen before. In fact, there was a full-blown book written about his for-profit presidency entitled The Grifters Club.
And experts say that he's violating, the Hatch Act and others when he does kind of use his office to advertise and profit off the club. And that's a, significant part of the book as well, how much he promotes the club to his own financial benefit. They doubled the membership fee and then raised it to $250,000 after he won election. That's a pretty naked act of opportunism and corruption right there.
And that word grift keeps following Trump. The New Republic headline says, "Bombshell report exposes Trump's Mar-a-Lago GOP grift." Donald Trump has transformed Mar-a-Lago into an essential right for Republican candidates as he quietly rakes in millions.
What we've seen is that while he was president, but especially since he's been president, that a whole bunch of new groups started to come in, both political campaigns, including his own campaign, but also a lot of other, sometimes very new MAGA-aligned groups, nonprofits or political groups that have events there, and they've more than replaced what he lost when the society customers left. In fact, Mar-a-Lago now appears to be more profitable than it has been at any time in the last 20 years.
And now let's lean into the bombshell story with this MSNBC video featuring the New York Times reporters as it expands on the current pay-for-play scam and kiss-the-ring ritual that is happening at Mar-a-Lago. But it's just the tip of the iceberg, and in a minute, I'll share the long list of shady sharks that continually circle Mar-a-Lago.
If Donald Trump manages to make the Oval Office the, quote, seat of criminality, as Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson has now famously warned and fears, Mar-a-Lago could become its southern satellite. The Times reports that dozens of members of Congress have made the trip to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring. It includes, of course, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson.
So who are the worshiping sharks that circle Mar-a-Lago, and what is the chum of extremism? Let's continue.
The ideologues, the conspiracy theorists, the outright crackpots and weirdos that Donald Trump spends his free time with as he makes a third run for the White House. As the New York Times reports, quote, MAGA is a movement, and Mar-a-Lago, its epicenter.
A fringe minority who hates this country, bringing communism to our shores.
They destroy life and freedom and family.
Radical, atheist, Marxists.
These radical left lunatics want to interfere with our elections.
They think they can continue to steal elections.
The election that we all knew was stolen.
If we don't have a fair election, right, then we don't have a country.
Now watch as New York Times reporter David Fahrenthold describes the extreme Mar-a-Lago guest list as something that has been normalized in a world influenced by Donald Trump.
You can't read it without worrying. about what Mar-a-Lago would become if Trump were to prevail in November. Can you just pull that thread for us a little bit?
Mar-a-Lago, the people that are there, and especially the people that are paying him, it's a specific brand of Republican politics. And it is now, what we would have described as the right fringe a few years ago, now moving closer to the mainstream. But the positions they hold are things like, January 6th was an inside job of the federal government. The 2020 election was stolen. Pizzagate, this conspiracy theory that pedophiles in the Democratic Party are killing children. All those things are real in this world. Obviously, they're in real life, they're all false. It's that kind of sort of apocalyptic, conspiratorial, and often just wrong reality that is sort of suffuses the place, and that Trump lives in now and encourages them by taking their business, but also by showing up at their events and accepting their awards. So what he's done there is take this far right fringe, the people that are paying him there, and help them move to the center of the party, which is him, right? The center of the party is just physically him. So by bringing those people around him, he's given them access to power and a path to even greater influence if he wins in the fall.
And this week, it's hard to avoid mentions of the takeover blueprint that is Project 2025, and it even found a place in this story. Another reminder that Trump and his extreme cronies and sycophants must be defeated.
Project 2025's leaders are intermingled in this fringe sort of cohort that Trump is one and the same with now. Can you just talk about this move to, the fringe seems to understate it, to the extreme?
Right. I think this is sort of the two ways that Donald Trump is trying to play this. In a lot of ways, he is not closing the door on anybody like a Michael Flynn or a Steve Bannon. The door is open as it has ever been to some of these right-wing figures who have made very more than questionable statements in the past. He was talking about the Heritage Foundation, and this was his exact quote. Quote, "This is a great group, and they're going to lay the groundwork and detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do and what your movement will do when the American people give us a colossal mandate to save America, and that's coming."